What is up, Saints? I'm back with another Christian Man Reacts video where the intent of my content is to present good and wholesome entertainment. And whether or not I do, that's up to you. But we're coming back around here to some comedy. We've been looking at music. We've been looking at preaching. We did one comedy video previously. It's all right, nothing to write home about, so to speak. Nothing great, but we're gonna try it again. And like I mentioned before, it's not really my forte. Stand-up comedy is not really the kind of comedy that I gravitate towards. I'm more of a slapstick kind of a guy. Three Stooges, Chris Farley, that kind of humor. But we're going to give it another shot here. I like that Christians can have fun and that there can be a wholesome, clean version of comedy. Because often I heard a preacher or somebody say, I don't remember if it was a preacher, if I read in a book where it was, but somebody said that comedians are the devil's preachers. And a lot of times they make light of serious situations, and a lot of times it's just filthy and dirty and just not good for a Christian to be listening to. Not good for anybody to be listening to, but especially for a Christian. So for the most part, I've avoided stand-up comedy, but we're going to give it another shot here. So today we're going to be looking at a gentleman here called Marcus D. Wiley. Never heard of him before. Just randomly picked a video, pulled it up here. It's a short little 5-minute clip, so this will be a quick video. There's no real title here. It's just called Christian Comedian. So I have no idea what to expect. No idea what kind of comedy he's going to present here. Let's just roll with it and see what we get.
Good morning, Concord. My name is Marcus D. Wiley. Hey TSU, what's up? Okay. What's up? Man, I tell you now, it's 10 o'clock, y'all a little lively, or 8 o'clock, it's a little different. So is this like a, this is a mixture church and a club crowd? I mean, no shade, because both institutions, they create some of the same dynamics. You got people who hang out at church like it's a club. Then you got folks who go to the club religiously. Yeah. Man, I can tell you, take on a little journey. Like you go to the club, they got at the club, they got a thing called bouncers. Bouncers are there to maintain order. Make sure you don't sneak in without paying. You go over to the church got a thing called ushers. They here to maintain order. Make sure you don't sneak out without paying your tithes and your off. Close the door, it's offering time, lock them. You go.
Yeah, I heard, just on a side note here, I heard that there's some churches, well, I wouldn't call them a church, that actually, not only do they require people to take tithes, but they shame people for not paying tithes. They'll distribute the names of people who did not give in the offering. That's just wicked. First of all, I don't even believe that the tithing plate should be passed around. I think that's ridiculous. I think because if you ain't got nothing to give, it makes you feel guilty and shameful, and you're looking around like, did people see that I just passed it without giving? And unbelievers, if they come to visit the church, they feel an obligation, and I've heard it from a couple different non-believers, that they think church is all just about the money, and so that helps solidify that idea in people's minds that we just want money. Now, granted, if you're a member of a church, if you're using some sort of institution or organization for your benefit, you're getting some sort of gain out of it, you ought to be contributing. You ought to help them pay their bills, to pay their pastor and whatnot, remembering that a good biblical pastor is deserving of double honor. So you want to help contribute, but there ought to not be some sort of mandatory obligational ritual where they pass around a tithing plate, just because it presents an opportunity for shame and guilt and legalistic obligation, and it gives a bad rep in the eyes of unbelievers. And there is no 10% tithe with the New Testament church. That's an Old Testament Levitical law, because they were a theocracy living in that kind of government. So it was basically their tax to pay the Levite priest class. We don't have that. The New Testament church, God loves a cheerful giver. So you're supposed to give out of the abundance of your heart. Whatever the Lord lays on your heart to give, you do so, with joy. And that ought to be done privately and without legalistic obligation or without shame. So just a side note there, since he brought that up.
Go to the church, to the club. The club have a bartender. Bartender ushers out spirits.
Man, I'm just going to throw this out there too. Like, that's another reason Christians shouldn't drink. If you go to the liquor store and it says on the wall, spirits, that ought to be a red flag. You ought to be able to discern that and go,
Go to the church. Church have a praise team leader or a pastor. Ushers in the spirit. Yeah. Men try to get with women at the club. Ladies, you don't like it because a brother don't know your name, so he got to reference something you wearing to get your attention. So you got to be like, psst, red. Psst, Gucci purse. Hold up, Gucci purse. Psst, say little PT, little ponytail. What's up? Holla at your boy. Men try to get with women at church too. They just make more of a spiritual reference. They be more like, psst, virtuous. Psst, something like Mary. What's up? Psst, answer to my prayers. Girl, you must be my rib. Believe it or not, you got people who go to the club, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't dance, they don't do nothing. They just like being there. Believe it or not, you got people who come to church. They're not in ministry, they don't participate, they don't give, they don't do nothing. They just like being here. But y'all, I'm one of them Christians, what you call, I'm free. Everybody say free. I came from a church where they said, any way you bless me, Lord, I'll be satisfied. And I took that and ran with it, right? Because 8 years ago, my wife came up to me. She was like, babe, I'm pregnant, and it's yours. I was like, all right, put that on me. Okay. But we ain't know nothing about having kids. And I was at the barber shop, and the dude came up to me. He said, say, bro, he about to have a baby. I was like, nah, my wife is. But it's like the same thing. He's like, well, I work at the hospital. I was like, you the doctor? He's like, nah, I work at the hospital, and I get stuff. I was like, you get stuff? He's like, yeah, you gonna need Pampers. You gonna need milk. I work at the hospital, and I get stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, how much? He said, give me $100. Concord Church, in my garage, stacked from the floor to the ceiling, were boxes of diapers and milk. Here's where I went wrong. One Sunday after church, I took one of these other Christians that's not free home with me. We go through the garage. He see all the boxes. He like, man, what's all these boxes? I said, pimp, that's milk and diapers. He said, man, I bet you spent an arm and a leg on all that. I said, $100. Dude at the barbershop hooked me up. Here you go, boy. That's stealing. That man stole that stuff, and you got your baby drinking this stolen milk. Your baby could drink this milk and die. He gonna kill my baby. But that's how they act when they not getting blessed.
See, that's the danger with Christian comedies. A lot of times they make light of serious situations. Try to balance it. You really don't go to a Christian comedian to get your theology and doctrine, but let's see where he's going with this, because,
Something always wrong with your blessing. And them type of Christians don't even read the Bible, because somewhere in there it say the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. And I'm just trying to see how you gonna get the wicked's wealth if you don't know nobody wicked. Some of y'all praying for a flat screen, you better go to the barber shop. All right, y'all good?
So yeah, I mean, there was humor in that, but that's that danger, man. You taking a, and again, it's tongue in cheek, so you have to weigh that out. But the whole premise there is wrong. Like, if that guy from the hospital is hustling and getting things illegitimately, there is no freedom in that. That's not Christian freedom. Christian freedom, you know, like in Romans 14, it talks about like how to worship and like just things like that, whether or not to eat meats or whether or not you celebrate certain holidays. There's no sin in either or, but to receive stolen goods, that is sin. You know, you can legally, in the laws of the lands, be held accountable for that. And if you know somebody is stealing something, and then it's like back in the day with LimeWire, you know, where you could download free music. You know, I thought that was a cool idea. I went through and I downloaded every song I had ever wanted, spent hours and hours and hours just burning CD after CD after CD, and then afterwards just feeling really convicted, like, you know, I haven't paid for this. So I am, in essence, robbing the musicians who do this kind of thing for a living, who put out that information, that music, in order to make a living, to make money. And by me getting it illegally, downloading illegally, they're not getting their money, so I'm stealing from them. Got super convicted, ended up throwing all those away. But so I don't like the fact that they make light of sin. So when it comes to that video there with that guy, Marcus Wiley, I'll have to say that was a fail. It wasn't all that funny, you know, bringing up the club. Christians should have no reference in their mind for what that's referring to, because we shouldn't be in clubs. We shouldn't be in an institution where people are getting drunk and promiscuous and high and listening to garbage secular music. So, yeah, that was a disappointing comedian. It wasn't really funny, and it was a little bit of irreverent. So, you know, I'd have to say, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, that's like a 1. Granted, it was just a little 5-minute clip. Maybe the guy's got better stuff out there. I don't want to critique him too much. I'd just say that particular set was not that funny and was irreverent. So, anyways, that's what I got for today. And Lord willing, we'll talk to you next time. I love you guys.